Very many thanks to all of those who've done the real work in organising this. It's been enormously appreciated. It's lovely to be here. I'm going to be talking about visualisation in a slightly different way to the way Dan was talking about it earlier. I'm going to be talking about the production of images, rather like the one that we have on the screen here. Images that now allow us to give an almost photographic, real-life quality to scenes of the past that have in fact long since left this earth. And I'm going to talk about this in the context of open scholarship, and I'm also going to talk about how we take it forward. I like to use the word provocation when talking about an image like this, because I think it should be used to provoke criticism and further scholarship, rather than to represent something as if we know how it definitely looked, and as if that is the end of our discussion. Now, this point is in no sense a new concern. The London Charter is now 10 years old. This charter set out a way of ensuring that people could actually ensure that images of the past were actually demonstrably grounded on solid data, and to try and make as transparent as possible how those images were arrived at. I think that the Charter's recognition of this point is very significant, because the actual process of generating visualizations is actually a tremendous opportunity for a different kind of way of making open to a wider world the way that we think we understand things, and to ensure that there is an open opportunity for others to participate in the creative process provoked by that image generation. Now, with regards to what I'm going to talk about now, I'm going to draw on examples from some of the work we've done on Rome's northern frontier. I actually do visualization in various different parts of the world, but I was going to take this one for this morning. This is work done in the association with work on the frontiers of the Roman Empire, a multinational World Heritage Site, goes through 22 countries, and work that's been done in association with a wide range of partners. So amongst other partners, I should note particularly New Visions, who do a lot of our visualization work, and also local government authorities. I'm thinking in particular in this instance of Newcastle City Council, as well as a range of normal university research-based entities. So I'm going to be focusing on Hadrian's Wall. And Hadrian's Wall has some fairly eye-catching stretches where it's perhaps easier to imagine a landscape from 2,000 years ago. The environmental shift in this area is not so dramatic, actually, that it's hard to imagine what this landscape looked like in the Roman period when Hadrian established a wall here in the beginning of the 2nd century of the Christian era. But many parts of this World Heritage Monument are actually subsumed under much more modern urban development. And many of the people who live on top of them actually find it quite difficult to actually place or understand what the landscape would have looked like. That's the line of Hadrian's Wall through modern Newcastle. There is a clear 4-dimensional aspect, of course, to trying to visualize this monument. It changed significantly within the Roman period and subsequently. But there is a further problem. Many of the individual areas or episodes of inquiry, small keyhole and rescue excavations, have not only been brief episodes, covered up, inaccessible to the public, they're often rather difficult to read. This is just one example of a small urban excavation in the Newcastle suburbs, which has actually been pivotal to helping us to understand what the wall actually looked like and how it functioned. It's not really a very inspiring picture, as I'm sure you'll agree, which is one of the reasons why visualization becomes so important to us. So what we sought to do is to make the sorts of information that are the building blocks of our understanding of this monument and the society which produced it as widely available as possible. Now, a lot of information in British excavations ends up in a large trough called grey literature, a series of reports that are seen by only a few and are notoriously hard to access. Now, there's been a great deal of progress through our archaeology data service in making that more widely available, but we do have an enduring problem with making it seem relevant perhaps to ordinary people on a day-to-day basis going about their lives in what is in fact a historic landscape. So, working in a number of different ways, we've sought to show how multiple small interventions, archaeological interventions, the kinds of thing that a passerby might note just as a rather unsightly hole, or perhaps a reason why the traffic has been redirected around their particular commute in an annoying way on a particular day, trying to show how those together actually build up to something that is very, very worthwhile and impactful. And so one of the things we've been looking at is actually showing how we can go from a modern city image to an ancient city image through the coalition of multiple images and multiple research programs. Now, we've generated a series of visualization apps that have allowed us to do this, apps that allow people to actually go through their own town and see where Roman sites were, and to then visualize at those points what the settlement would look like in the Roman period. We've got a more sophisticated desktop-based version of the same thing, and that actually allows people to move around the landscape on essentially a games platform, but it also takes visualization forward, I hope, as a provocation for members of the public by showing key points where there is an academic debate as to what the landscape might have looked like. So here we see a classic reconstruction of a stretch of Hadrian's Wall. You can see there a turret, but actually, if you go to the information point, you note that on the evidence we've got, some people think it looks like this, some think it looks like this, and some thinks it looks like this. So it's reminding people that while a visualization can be inviting, it can also be challenging. All of those are backed up with different data sets. We also make sure that visualization is put in public places, hopefully as a way of connecting people to the opportunities to deepen their understanding. Here we are looking at Newcastle Station, and the same data that we've been looking at already is used to generate this visualization by New Visions, which will greet people arriving at the station, showing what that same view would have looked like 2,000 years ago. So that's one area where we've made data available. We've also developed a company that has actually got some of the information for detail, in terms of artifactual detail, and that is available free for educational users on the net. And the excellent FutureLearn have given us the opportunity to run an online course which actually allows people to access all of these different resources. They can be accessed independently, but also becomes a very useful mechanism for us for getting feedback on these visualizations and in turn providing updated information to others that we can in turn use as part of a dialogue that enriches our own scholarship on this area. Thank you very much.